Today I have a very special guest. This is my second time having Ole Demigard on my channel, and it's a pleasure to work with him and be his friend. I wanted to bring him on my channel again to get into an area that not a lot of people know about, which is controlled opposition and just what it is and actually how it works. And for those of you who are my new subscribers, I just want to briefly explain how I know Ole. So when I was still a Jehovah's Witness and I first got targeted, which some of you have heard my story, Ole was the only person that believed my story. I reached out to Ole because I knew what his background that he wouldn't think I was crazy. And sure enough, he knew exactly what I was talking about. He had inside connections that verified it's a real thing. And he actually helped me get on my feet and helped me go public with it. And I also got on a Michael Jaco show because of Ole. And when I went public with it, that's when my life turned around. So I look at Ole as like a mentor. And for those of you who you like the way that I break down Jehovah's Witness stuff, how I deconstruct Watchtower lies and spot all the hidden patterns and subliminal messages. Well, I just want to say that I learned that from watching Ole. So I just deconstruct Jehovah's Witness stuff that Ole does all conspiracies worldwide. So that's how I know Ole, and it's a privilege and honor to have you here again. And could you just explain to my audience what is the work that you do and how did you get into this work?
But first of all, Quinn, it's a real pleasure to see you again. And I'm really proud of you because you were a mess when we met the first time. And it's like, it's one thing to be scared and in a mess. And then cave. It's another thing to be scared and in a mess and then learn from it and keep the inner balance in a way there where you can make a difference if you come from a point of integrity and balance and meaning well and with a heart of filled with compassion and forgiveness, but at the same time not taking any bullshit. That's the way I think you can make a real difference. If you come from anger, revenge, that whole thing, I think we miss the point because it just creates more of the same crap. So yeah, it's when I look you in the eyes now and I see you, I'm very proud of you. Just want to tell you because it takes a lot when you start standing up against these forces. And I don't know a lot about Jehovah's Witnesses, but I've learned from you. And the more I look into the power structure, the secrecy, the setup, it's so similar to so many other of these. I don't know. I don't want to call them a sect. It's more like. I surely don't want to call it a religion because it's more like yeah, we're going to come into this whole thing, but unfortunately, there's so many of these religious groups and or political groups or climate change groups or whatever that are being set up in the same way. And this is where we also going to come into the area of what is control opposition and these things because, yeah. So you ask where I come from. I come from more than 40 years looking into this whole thing because I come from a journalistic background and crime investigator background. Very confused individual, just like what on earth is going on because I am just confused. And I've now found out also that my family, my parents were living a double life, that they were actually secret assets for NATO, deeply involved in the creation of what is called Gladio or Stay Behind in Denmark. In Denmark, it was called Absalon, which was from the beginning something very positive, super secret ghost army there in case of an invasion from the East in those days. But unfortunately, over the years, this organization, like so many other organizations, that starts out with a very good intention and where there's a leader showing the way and everything is beautiful. And then somehow it gets infiltrated with corrupt mindsets and hijacked. And then it goes, suddenly you were aiming to go to Birmingham and suddenly you're heading for Las Vegas. What on earth happened? You're sitting in the back of the bus thinking, well, this is where we're going, but then you're not aware of who's the driver. And then suddenly and once you're on the bus, you can't get off. So my parents were in that also, and they were in it, at least my father, all the way till he died. I had absolutely no idea. But I think that this is maybe one of the reasons that I come from. When I look around, I'm kind of unique in this area because I come from a background that where I was born into these operations. They joined before my birth, and I think that I was possibly given life to come into this area because they needed like a perfect family facade, and so children were needed to create that in those days. And I think that that was I was so on a spiritual level, I came with a mission, and that was to study light and dark, good and evil, and try to figure out what the hell is going on. Why all of this pain? Why all of this control, destruction? I don't get it. I don't get it. So what the hell? I mean, what was the whole point of eating the apple? Everything was great, and then we just got messed up. So over the years, I devoted my life. I've been really focusing on top political assassinations, but also that led me into the world of so-called false flag operations, where it's like it's actually a mind fuck. It's like a psychological operation of where the attacked one is actually the attacker, not the victim. They're setting it up so that we feel, oh my God, poor you, and then that will justify your actions for revenge, invasion, whatever it is. So that is what a false flag is. And over the years, I've become, according to quite a few people, a world-leading expert in this area. And I've been also able to learn their agenda from whistleblowers from the inside and their modus operandi. And over the years, I've done more than 1,300 interviews, and my last name has actually become a verb. To damagard or hashtag damagarding is to find the hidden clues because they actually leave hidden clues in the forensic evidence about upcoming attacks. And so once I learned that from an insider, that put me in a position where suddenly I could start predicting things from where the clues they were leaving. So up to date, I think I predicted or connected on international radio up to 2 months before they happened, 74 or something like that of these alleged false flag, no, sorry, alleged mass shootings, alleged terror attacks. So is that positive or is it negative? I would say it's positive because many people think that we live in a very violent world, that we live in a crazy world where mass shootings are the new norm and the new normal, and where terror attacks, that's just all these crazy Muslim terrorists. What I find, I've never been able to find a real terrorist. I find inside jobs over and over and over and over again there to what the CIA call the strategy of tension, scare the living bejesus out of us with random acts of violence. It needs to be random so that everybody feels like, oh God, it could have been me. Oh God, because they want to keep us in fear and in the dark. And so, because that's where they can control us, management by fear. So their whole agenda, the ones that are trying to now take over the world, they've been trying to do that for many, many years, but like through globalization, through so many different acts to get it into a one world order, a one world digital currency, a one world army there to control us, not to protect us, a one world religion, a one world everything, one, where the central control and your power is none to be found. So when you look at the Jehovah's Witnesses and so on, it's set up in a very similar way. And that's why I find it really interesting when we do these type of things, because I learned from you come from the inside. You contacted me from the inside. And so you've been telling me what's going on, because from the outside point of view, it's very hard because there's this secrecy. So you have to ask yourself, what is up with the secrecy? Because I can only say I believe in transparency. Get the crap out there, put it out there, heal it, and let's get on with life. But here we see something completely different. And it's in the occult as well. The occult just means that it's not, it's hidden. in the dark for us. Why is it hidden? And I would say all kinds of disease and all kinds of conspiracies, all kinds of evil thrives in the shadows. When you aim the light of, that's why my website is called Light on Conspiracies, is because when you aim the light into even the belly of the beast, the shadows, they just disappear. They have no power. So yeah.
And could you just explain briefly, what was the main case that got you into this work? What was the first thing that you looked at?
Okay, I know the exact moment. It was in 1980. I was watching in the middle of the night. There was satellite TV had come to Sweden, and so it's like before that there was only like two channels, and so it was amazing, like to be able to in the middle of the night play around with a remote. I mean, it was just amazing. So I was visiting my sister in Stockholm. I was lying there in 2, 3 in the morning, and there was this documentary about the JFK assassination. It was the very first time I really heard about it, in detail. And in it, I saw how the so-called Zapruder film, how where you see how Kennedy is hit in the head and his head is thrown back and to the left. So, I mean, I'm a simple person. 1 + 1 = 2. The shooter must have been standing where? In the front and to the right. Otherwise, his head would have been thrown in a different direction. It's just normal physics. But here, it said no. He was up in a Texas book depository on the 6th floor behind a tree, firing up from there in like impossible timing. When you look at the reloading, it didn't make any sense whatsoever. But the documentary said no, that's where he was. So it took me about 18.2 seconds or something like that to figure out that's just bullshit. And it's taken me 44 years to find out what actually went on. And I find it very interesting that the shot that was fired from the grassy knoll, one of multiple shots, there were so many different, this was an ambush on the highest level. It's unbelievably well carried out. But the final shot that was not supposed to be fired, that was just like, if anything else failed, we have this backup shooter. The one that shot from behind the picket fence, his name is James Files. And now I've come full circle. I've done 3 or 4 very, very in great detail, almost intimate interviews with him, helping him to bring I've been by his side since the 90s, supporting him and getting the truth out there. And very few wants to listen. Even in the so-called research community, I don't get it. It's like people are just, nope, 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 nope. I have no idea why, but the truth is still the truth. So for me, it's been like almost like full circle to get in direct touch with the person who fired the shot that woke me up. So
Oswald, who they say did it, what does Oswald have in common with a lot of these so-called mass shooters?
Oswald he was actually trying to prevent the whole thing. He was involved with the people. He was a CIA operative. He was a very intelligent guy. He was also in working for the FBI. He was involved in the Bay of Pigs invasion, the preparations there. He was involved with all kinds of stuff. But one of the major ones was that he was involved in Louisiana and New Orleans in a project to create a very top secret bioweapon against Castro based on the SV40 virus. It's a extremely cancer potent so-called virus, whatever a virus is, that kills extremely fast. And so this came in from the polio vaccine. Actually, there was a doctor called Dr. Alton Oshner in New Orleans. That was the one that developed the polio vaccine. And that even though they were aware, if you ask me, they were very aware what they were doing, even though they found out that there were living cancer-causing cells in that based on monkey kidney stuff in the vaccines that were going to be released to the world, even knew that this was highly, highly cancer causing, they released it. Even Altan Oshner, he took his. There was this scandal that was brewing in '62 or something like that, where '61 or '62, where the rumor started that my God, what's in these things? And so he brought his two grandchildren up on stage, and he called for a press conference, and he injected both of them with this whole. One of the kids died within 24 hours, and the other one got severe polio for the rest of her life. So, and still after that, they spread it. So hundreds of millions of people have been injected with the SV40 virus or got it on a sugar cube, the way I have this crap floating around in this body. And I can't remember how there was a couple of 100,000 in the States, but also in Russia and in Europe. And they knew they knew this is the horrible thing is that they knew that there's going to be a wave of cancer cases, but like with like a 30-year, 20, 30-year like interval, suddenly it will explode. And so when you see in the 80s, where suddenly people super healthy, non-smokers, doing everything right, started boom, cancer, cancer, cancer. And now when more and more researchers are really looking into the cause of many, many, many different cancers, and they always find the SV40 virus, so-called virus, in it, in the center of the whole thing. So that bomb that hit the world as cancer actually came from the release of the polio vaccine. These things are bioweapons. Bioweapons. It has nothing to do with protection. It's the exact opposite. And so Lee Oswald was involved with that. But then after the Bay of Pigs invasion or the fiasco and the Cuban Missile Crisis, it was just like suddenly Kennedy completely changed his direction when he saw how close the world was to destroy itself with these the yeah, the military industrial complex and I mean the whole thing was just going berserk. And I think he had like almost like an enlightened moment when he was sitting with a finger on the button, being the one that could have caused the Third World War. And he just said, I refuse to be the one that causes this. And from then on, you see this, I think, very distinct change from sort of like a rich boy, rich man's son, playboy, glitter and glamour, Hollywood, did this whole thing into a very determined individual who said, I'm going to crush the CIA into 1,000 pieces. I'm going to withdraw from Vietnam. I'm going to stop Israel from the nuclear program. I'm gonna destroy the Federal Reserve and take the power back from the money. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. It was unheard of. He fired the head of the CIA. He fired three holy cows in the intelligence. It was unheard of. So suddenly this bioweapon cannon and all of the attempts on Castro's life, that whole thing was just changed. The whole setup with assassins and all of that was just moved over. And so it was aimed at Kennedy. And they were the ones that took him out. The Operation 40 and so on were the ones that took him out. And in that group were Lee Oswald. But since he had been on other tasks as an agent, he had been to Russia, they saw him as the perfect patsy to blame. So he was set up as the one to do it because of the Russian background, because that so they could point it that way and nobody would understand what actually happened. So he was set up by his own people, and he understood. I'm a close friend to his girlfriend and mistress, Judith Very Baker, that was part of this operation also against Castro. And so uh, she has told us that Lee knew from around the end of July that he was being set up, and from that point on, he did everything he could to stop the assassination, and he knew that he was going to die. I mean, he knew it, so he sacrificed himself to save the president and also to save his wife Marina and the kids and Judith Very Big, because he knew if he just escaped or whatever he did, they would go for them instead. There was no way out. So if you ask me, the world looks at Lee Oswald as this assassin, this horrible person. I say he's the ultimate hero. If is such a thing as a hero, I would say Oswald was one of them, who very, very with an open mind, knew this is it for me. He was only 24. He was only 24 when he was shot by his own, and when he was completely set up and betrayed by everyone around him, except for Judith. So, yeah, ugly story.
And I just want to touch on one more thing with that. A lot of the mass shooters that are dead on location, the lone gunmen's that like Oswald, most of those people are innocent, right? From your research.
I would say that very few times are there mass shooters. Most of the time, these are set up, staged events. So with controlled environments where all the parameters are controlled, including so-called victims, including the location, including everything. It's set up. I mean, if you're interested in these type of things, please go to my website, lightonconspiracies.com, plural, lightonconspiracies.com. You have to write the whole URL.com to get it. Otherwise, it will. I'm one of the most censored individuals apparently on the internet, and it just gets reflected to like a government. Podcast, or if you go oledamagard.com, it goes to a law firm in El Paso, or it's like weird. But anyway, in that there's I've done multiple of these describing exactly how they're set up, how they do these things. One is called Terror. Are you kidding me? That one I'm very proud of. I just break it down in great detail so you can see for yourself. Another one is called the Global Tour of Terror, because what I've found is like there's this mobile unit that is being transported around in mostly NATO countries and just performing the very same act over and over and over again, just like a rock band on tour. But here they're carrying out these alleged mass shootings. And so mass shootings takes place mostly in the US because that's where the guns that they want to get rid of is. It's problem, reaction, solution. They want to make the guns the problem so that the solution will be for you, the citizen, to give up your weapons when actually they are the ones, the power structure is the one setting it up because they're super cowards and they do not want any kind of resilience or any kind of where you have any say. You should just bow down, pull down your pants and say, I surrender. That's where they want you. So when there are dead shooters on location, these individuals are very often set up beforehand, and just their only task is to end up dead. They often have no idea what they're involved in. They have no idea. But nowadays it's been become so advanced that they don't need these things. They only need to control the information outlet. If they can control what we're being told through these screens in front of us, or through so-called media, mainstream media, if they can control that information flow, they don't have to do anything really on location that has any real value. It's just a matter of how to control it. And this is what I've focused on because I've gone on location so many different places in Europe and in the States when these things have happened, sometimes even before to prevent them. Prevented quite a few of these planned massacres. Uh, and so once you get on location, that's when you can start saying, wait a second, this official narrative, that doesn't make any sense at all. Because you can't see it when you're in the screen, you're sort of in the box. You're inside the box. You can only see like this. But when you go on location, it's like, whoa, I'm like, oh my God, was that right in front of that building? It just like, like in the JFK movie when Garrison, the attorney, he takes his team in New Orleans and he said, are you aware of where we are right now? And they're like, yeah, New Orleans. No, look at that. That's ONI, that's CIA, that's FBI, that's Secret Service, that right in the once you see that, it's like, holy shit. I mean, I thought that was a post office. No, yeah, but what's up there? What's there? And then you see what are the chances, for instance, that anything like a terror group would do anything right in the center of that whole intelligence community area, what are the chances? I don't think they're very big. And why would they do it? In that case, they would hit these. Instead, we see, boom, something happens, and it's like that's when you see, whoa, why would they do it there? Because they can control the whole area. And so going on location is key, and that's where you see more or less zero real reporters doing it.
I know a lot of the subscribers I have, some of them are just waking up out of Jehovah's Witnesses, so a lot of this is new information for them. That's why I wanted to get you to give a brief like explanation of all of these things that are probably new to them. Um, so now I wanted to get into the control opposition thing. So I've learned a lot of it about it from watching your stuff, and so I think I have a pretty good idea of it, but I wanted you to explain to my audience like what it is and how it works. Because I think sometimes people think that it's only just to maybe destroy something or sabotage something, but sometimes they're there in the background just to kind of divert people away from certain things, right? But I just wanted you because even I'm a little bit confused on all the different types of controlled opposition. So if you could just go ahead with, breaking it down into different types and the different purposes of each type.
It's multi-layered, and I'm not an expert. I just experienced it. I can see it when it happens sometimes. Is I think it comes from the old Romans, like so many of these different methods that are still being used. There are not that many, but they're being used full on to this very day. And one of them is control opposition. The thing is, we need heroes. You have a bad boy, we look for heroes. We look for alpha individuals who have the courage to stand up, Hercules, all of these type of whatever their names was, stand up and fight the dragons, stand up and the thing is, if you got a hero, then you don't have to do it because, well, Achilles will do it. Whoever that person is, he will do it for us. And you will cheer them on, yay, well done, we are winning. Okay, that is true if that individual is actually on your side. But so the power structure that we are up against very, very early understood, okay, this is not good. I mean, real heroes, real opposition that can really make a difference are dangerous to us because we are weak. The people that have come to power through manipulation, through backstabbing, through lying, stealing, all of these things are not brave individuals. These are not like strong, like, yeah, not at all. They're creeps. Many of them super psychos. And I mean, why would any healthy individual strive to accomplish what they've done? You can just see their actions. It really stinks. So they are cowards. So what they need is they need to get rid of these heroes. So what they do is instead of waiting for a real hero to approach or be created or stand up, they many times create one themselves, but somebody that they control. So they control both sides of a conflict. They control both sides, and then it's an illusion going on, and we're sitting in the background just watching it. Oh, come on, cheering on one side. Yeah, 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 go, you can do it, you can do it. But actually, nothing is happening. If you look at, for instance, the world is being told, in Gaza, well, Israel has to defend itself against Hamas because Hamas have been carrying out all of these atrocities. It's a Palestinian organization, it's Palestinian terrorists. They're attacking poor Israel. Okay, fair enough. So let's just look into what is Hamas. Pal Palestine had an organization called PLO with Yasser Arafat as a leader. He was then poisoned to death. Okay, after that, if you look at the power structure, the Palestinian, if you've ever seen apartheid, I'm not sort of like into politics at all. I don't choose sides. That's not true. I do what is the right thing according to my heart. I've been to South Africa. I've seen apartheid. It's gruesome. But Israel, I went to Israel. I mean, I was completely shocked. I've never seen anything like it before. Apartheid, where the Palestinians was like second class citizens. They had special license plate. They had to carry IDs everywhere. They had to, the jobs were half paid. The way they were treated was like really awful. Like they were in reservations. I mean, gated or fenced in open air prison camps, many of them, like in the Golan Heights or the West Bank or Gaza and so on. Okay, so and every single time there's a conflict, it ends up with the area for the Palestinians to become smaller, 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 smaller. They're there to get rid of them. The agenda is to get rid of them. That is it, in a very brutal way. I mean, when I saw the Israeli soldiers that RFK has now applauded, saying, I mean, when I saw, I'll tell you one thing that I saw that was just, I can hardly talk about it because what we're talking about one of the most powerful military nations in the world. It's tiny. This country is tiny. There's a reason why Jesus could walk from Bethlehem to Jerusalem. They were walking. It's walking distance. It's so tiny. Anyway, your dear country is pumping millions on a daily basis into this small little country that are using a lot of it into military force. Okay, so on that side, extreme like fighter planes and tanks and cannons and bombs and any type of thing. That's one side of the ring. You got like Mike Tyson there. And then on the other side, you got an infant in diapers. You got people that have been living in refugee camps that have been closed off, that are being searched, and they hardly have water. Nothing is allowed in. They're being frisked. They're being treated horrendously. Super, super, super advanced uh, fencing and radars and automatic machine guns and minefields and all of that against a population that to a large extent are children and teenagers. Okay. Okay. So Hamas, out of this organization, Hamas is born, which is a political organization officially against Israel. So welcome to control opposition because I'm not speculating, this is a fact, who created and has been funding Hamas from day one? Is it Palestinian support groups around the world? No, it is Israel. Listen to that one. Israel created Hamas. Israel is funding Hamas. Hamas is officially attacking Israel, justifying Israel to bomb the living crap out of open air prison camps where people are not even armed, and most of them are kids and teenagers. This is the false flag operation. The attacked one is actually the attacker. And then media is pumping out, oh, poor Israel, oh, poor Israel. You know, somebody throws a stone at a tank. Well, that justifies send in the fighter planes or the Apache helicopters and exterminate them in the thousands. That is control. Hamas is a perfect, perfect example of control opposition. It has nothing, but Palestinians believe that it's a Palestinian organization, but it's not. And I'm not speculating. This is a fact. Look up. If you really start digging into the creation of Hamas, you would see it's an Israeli creation. Has nothing to do with Palestine. So when you can control both sides, then you can play out the theater, you get the sympathy from the rest of the world, and you get away with your agenda. So you have, if control oppositions, I don't badmouth people normally, but I'm going to badmouth people now. You got Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden, who CIA have been trying to kill and silence and all of these things for so many years. Come on. How easy to get rid? How come that he on a continuous basis are having information that he can let out on a very high level. It's like the thing is, if you want to freak people out, how do you do it? You get into their mind. How do you get them into your mind? If like if I say, um, well, the CIA is planning on here that you're making phones so that they can listen and they can even, interpret what you're thinking and then predict it, and then you can be arrested or whatever like that. People would say, yeah, right. But if a whistleblower steps forward and says things when the system might not even be there, fully activated, and starts saying, "This is it. Whatever you do, if you fart or if you look the wrong way, it will be observed. There's satellites here; they can see whatever." True or not true, the thing, the if you compare the agenda of actually putting that whole system, what would that take financially to put that system globally in place? Or you let someone out there and just tell the whole thing. This is it, this is it, this is it, this is it. And then freaking people out globally. What is the cheapest? What is the most efficient way? I would say that one. So the thing is, I have been in this on this path not for my own benefit, I tell you. I've had people murdered around me. We moved. It's the third country I'm living in now where we moved because of these things. I've been shot. I've been almost hit by cars. I've been poisoned. I mean, I've been in the receiving end of not so nice stuff. So I, in this area of uncomfortable truths, I have met incredible people that have gone through absolute hell, been purified through fire, have been standing up for what I believe is true and right, which is humanity, which is compassion, caring, instead of accepting and just bending down your head and see people getting hurt around you. Anyway, people, some of them with knowledge and information that could do incredible things in the world. Are they allowed anywhere near mainstream media? Does anyone, and we have tried, the few times anyone is allowed from coming from this point of view is to be destroyed. That's why I've been invited to ITV and I don't know, different big Granada TV. I turn them down every single time because I know I'm being set up. They come, they do like 8 hours of filming into you and everything. Oh, it's amazing, amazing. And the people doing it, they're great people. I'm not saying that, but the final edit, boom, 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 comes down to like maybe like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, where you look like an absolute idiot, a complete messed up in. So destroyed, destroyed, destroyed. So when you look at all of these people, myself included, not given a chance. I mean, there's like this transparent wall. It's just like boom, boom. You cannot get through it. You cannot. And then you have individuals like Edward Snowden. If he burps, it will be in New York Times, Washington Post, the BBC, everywhere. Edward Snowden, Edward Snowden, Edward Snowden, Edward Snowden, Edward. That tells me there's something very weird going on there if you compare to what's going on here. Another one, I'm very sorry to say, is Julian Assange. People love Julian. What he says is beautiful. What all of these things, I'm not saying anything about that, but I can, if he is not control opposition, feel free to chop my arm off. It is same there. Everything it's like in mainstream media, all of them, boom, Julius Assange, this. When you see his background, when you see all of the different steps, it stinks of the intelligence community, different operations, all of these, where you have specific people there as front figures there to mess with your mind. Created heroes that are doing amazing things. And yeah, oh, so they're put in prison. Well, I have from secure sources that many of these people, when they're put behind bars, They have the press is watching them walk into the prison, and they go straight through the prison, and they're taken out on the back of the building and taken off and doing other stuff for a few years, then coming back to the building, coming through the back door, coming out and being released. This is the thing. We're looking at a massive theater in different areas where it's like I feel that that one of the things I'm trying to do when I really go into great detail is to make the veil, pull the veil to the side, just say, please look here. I never try to push anything down people's throats or I'm right, you're wrong, or whatever. What I find a lot of stuff. I'm a super nerd in this area. I'm a bit of a Rain Man, disaster in other areas. In this area, for some reason, this mind is just made for it. So when I do presentation, I just point out things. Look there, look there, look here, look there. What are you seeing? Once people get it pointed out, it's sort of like, what on? And the normal reaction is like, in the end, people are just like gobsmacked. What? How did I not? Why did I not see it? Because we've been in this sleeping spell. The thing is, we're up against the biggest propaganda machine ever in the history of humanity. I mean, we're up against a shitload of information that we have no idea where it's coming from. We don't know how to decipher. It's aimed at us very specifically through different systems. There was this big, what was it called? The Cambridge Britannica scandal, where they found out how they were using social media platforms and many different other computer systems, coordinate them so that they could pinpoint exactly like Quinn, what do we need to show him to get him to think like that? Ole, what exactly type of information on Facebook and so on would, how can we get to that person? Auntie Elsa or whatever on the park bench there. How can we reach her? Through conspiracy? No, I don't think so. Through like how to feed birds and grow um, carrots or whatever. Maybe that's the way. And then so when people say, "Oh, Twitter is so violent," is it? I've never seen anything violent on Twitter because it's not the feed that is coming to me. Or people are so gross and people are so violent in their work. Never seen anything like it. So it's like we have to be very aware of that we're being messed with. They're really trying to get into our mind. The heart they cannot get to. That's why you can mind control. It's not heart control. And so I'm always trying to get out of my mind, get out of my head, and into my heart and come from the heart. They say that's the longest journey from here to here, but that's where this is the one we should listen to. The voice is very subtle and very quiet. Quiet the mind, and then you will start listening to your heart. And that's where you can make a difference.
So, let me know if I summarize this correctly with the control position. So, like, one type would be so to avoid us stepping up and being heroes that are going to make a real difference, they will create a fake hero, and then we'll be like, "Oh, we have a hero because they gave us one," but that hero won't really guide us in the right way. They will kind of maybe send us in circles where nothing really gets done, but we'll think, "Oh, they're taking the lead." But really they're not really going to get anything done. And then they can divert our minds where the controllers want our minds to go. So instead of us going in one direction, they can use that person to go in a different direction. Like what you said about Snowden, how like they can use him to pump all that fear out. So we just were absolutely terrified. And then we think all those things are maybe globally when maybe they're not. Maybe they're out there, but maybe it's only in certain areas, but they'll have someone like him come on, say we give up hope and be like, oh, it's too late, that everything, oh, everything is being watched and monitored and it's already set in place. But would that be a fair assessment of me kind of summarizing what you were saying?
Yeah, is it okay if I rant on a
Oh yeah.
little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you take WikiLeaks, for instance, when WikiLeaks came, it was like an explosion of truth. It was like, oh my God, we had no idea. Yeah. So WikiLeaks came out of nowhere. That's where Assange is also in the background or with the creation of that whole thing. But so the way it's done is like you have a source that enters in on stage when needed. It's very often to divert the attention at that specific point away from something else. You know, something is big, is about to be exposed or whatever. Boom, drop a bone over there, make an explosion over there. Boom, everybody looks to the left. They get away with this one. We're focused there. So, how do they manage to do that? Can they do that with pure lies? Absolutely not. It has to be something juicy. So, when like a thing like WikiLeaks entered, it was 100% truth, explosive truth, handpicked truth, but truth, 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 truth. People were starting like, wow, wow, this is unbelievable. This is what we've been waiting for. This is incredible. I had to tell my friends. Okay, so 100 became 1,000, 1,000 became 100,000, a million, and so on. 100% truth, 100% truth, 100%. After a while, people start relaxing. They're not being so, wait a second, I need to go there and check for myself. Is that really true? So after a while, they have your confidence. So whatever they say, it will be truth because I know them, their truth. This is how it's done. So 90, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, million starts gathering. They start focusing on other stuff because they've got their sources. They're doing their own research. Whatever that means when people do research on the internet, I don't get it because really you have to look where is this information coming from. Anyway, back to WikiLeaks. So after 6 months or something like that, suddenly it's like 95% truth and like 5% like, whoop. But nobody knows what is what and nobody's aware of it at all. It can also be not only that it's not true, but it can be areas that are completely avoided, but where the real truth is. That all of that is exposed, but in these five, that's the real root of it. That's just avoided. It's just put to the side. 95, then after maybe 6 months later, it's down to 90, then it's 85, then it's 80, then it's 75, then it's, and in the end, you don't know what is real and what they can just push whatever on you. So 75%, I'm sorry to say, Alex Jones, in my opinion, once again, chop my arm off. That's one for you as well. Incredible information he's been spreading out. Incredible. Yeah. And not because this very specific areas completely cut off and also at the same time making big business, but also what is he spreading? He's spreading fear, he's spreading anger, he's juicing the whole thing up, getting it going, oh, fight them, lynch them, kill them, they should be lynched, they should be, this is exactly what they want in the background. So it's a tricky one for me because I've experienced it personally where people that I thought were my friend turn out to be created they weren't even real people. Their identities were created. I've had people in my house with my kids like that having dinner, not understanding until way later. Holy shit, this person that I know doesn't even exist. It's a constructed identity. And where they have entered into my space to destroy me. I was not aware they've been trying to break Kim and myself up, my sweetheart Kim and I. They've been trying to get to me because I don't have money. I've been very, I mean, I'm not really interested in material stuff. I I have everything that I found that was if I lied or if I stole, I've gone open with it. I've so there's nothing there's I tell you, I don't want to challenge anyone, but it's not easy to find dirt on me because I've like when I found out about my parents being in Gladio, I was the one that broke the news. People say, well, he must be part of Gladio because his parents were. I was the one that went went open with it. It was very traumatic for it's very traumatic for my siblings because it's so like a complete like what happened to our life. It just like yeah, and a betrayal and lies, everything like completely confusing. So not nice at all. But anyway, so if they can't get in other ways, they will try and I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, do you mind if I jump in on that point? Um,
Please, please, Quinn.
so I don't know if we're gonna have time to get into some of the stuff that I want to show you. I could always send it to you after, but briefly, so in my situation recently, so I've been doing my channel now for 2 years. I think like August 28th in a few days will be my 2 year mark from when I started my YouTube channel, Exposing Watchtower. So I've never had any issues. I've never made videos where I'm talking about people. I don't gossip about people. I just stick to deconstructing Watchtower. I've seen other people who I know who are friends in that network and they start fighting. I don't take sides. I stay out of it. So recently, I started looking into this Jehovah's Witness that went missing or ex-Jehovah's Witness. And long story short, as soon as I did a video public and I brought this person up, so they've been missing for about 2 years. And there was another ex-Jehovah's Witness who he did an interview with her and he put it online. And then he ended up kind of getting attacked. Not the same way I got attacked. He was getting like kind of harassed and people kept bothering him about it and calling her a liar and all this stuff and where's she at and it's kind of hard to explain like exactly what they're doing, but anyway, he took it down because he got sick of being harassed about this interview, and they kept asking him, "Well, where's she at? Is she control our position?" Where so he got rid of it. So something came up where I started looking into something that led to this same person, and there were certain things that she said that sounded like she was also targeted, which is something that I'm an expert on, especially in the ex-Jehovah's Witness community. So I ended up doing a video where I started comparing old footage of her and things that she said and things that this other person said. I have a new very good friend of mine named John who was also targeted, and I started connecting the dots, and I started to think, well, maybe maybe she's missing. Like people are like, oh yeah, she disappeared because she's control opposition and she's a fake and all this stuff, and you can't trust her. Like a lot of negative stuff. But when I was looking into it, I was like, well, what exactly did she do? Why everybody hates her, nobody trusts her, and they say she's a witch and all this stuff. And when I was asking people, it was like no one really had a good answer. So I'm like, okay, well, then how do you know she's not missing? Maybe she's missing. She's gone on record saying she was being stalked, she was being followed, harassed. She said that she had like her house burnt down twice, that people said her. So then I'm like, well, if somebody's saying this, then and they go missing, like why is nobody like worried about, hey, what if something happened to her? Not just, oh, she disappeared because but so anyway, I did a video where I started taking clips from her on things she was saying and comparing it with some of the stuff that I've said about Target and other things. So as soon as I posted that video, it started off where as soon as I posted this first video, an ex Jehovah's Witness couple who I've never spoken to, and I've seen them before, like on a comment section, but and I might have replied to like a comment here and there, but I've never had these people actually reach out to me. So this couple like reached out to me. Oh, you need to call this person. They're also a target. Call this person. And I didn't want to call them because I'm like, well, if I call them, they're going to have my personal phone number. I don't just give them my phone number that easy. So I said, well, if this person wants to contact me, they can contact me on Facebook, but I'm not going to call them. So then these people connect with me, and I thought I could trust them at the time. So, but it was odd because I noticed it was like I could almost feel the energy. Like as soon as I posted the video, it was only up for maybe like 5 or 6 hours, and then like out of nowhere, like you people are contacting me. I've never spoken to you in 2 years. I've never. So it was just a little weird. And it just made me feel that, I mean, now looking back, I get this feeling that like once I started looking into this person, these other people might have been activated to kind of get in my circle. That's just the feeling that I got. So anyway, I then posted something very damaging to say the Watchtower organization. So that same interview that other guy did, that he took it off because he was getting harassed about it. I asked him, I said, hey, can I repost that interview because I want to take the interview and I want to break it down. I want to add things to it. I want to back up what she was saying. I want to make comparisons. So I took his original footage and I basically was able to show things like some of the threats that she made. I was able to show like records. Oh, her house really did burn down. Here's a news article. Just things like that. So this is the same base material that this other guy got harassed for 2 years ago for posting it. So anyway, so I reposted it, and within 48 hours, I got attacked by all these different people. And it first started off with this one woman, and I won't say her name, but she contacted the other person who I got the interview from and asked his permission. And she made up this story saying like, "Oh, you need to have him take it down, because it could hurt her. She could have a court case going against Watchtower and all this stuff." Like she played the legal angle. So then this guy who he removed it before, he's kind of falling for it right away, and I'm not buying it so quick. So he contacts me. He's like, could you maybe put the video private until we get permission from this person?" So I'm giving you the short version, but basically, the woman Selena, her name's Selena Vertolomo. She's the one who went missing. So I don't even know if she's alive. So I'm like, I'm not gonna take the video down and wait for somebody who nobody even knows where she's at. And she never requested anything to be taken down. She did the interview because she wanted her story public. That's why she did it. So I'm like, well, who is this woman that's trying to make me take it down? So I didn't have to take it down because he once he gave me permission to use it, I created a video and I published it on YouTube. So like he can't make me take it down because I got his permission and I turned it into my own video. So I was reasonable and I said, well, um if this woman Selena, if she's alive and she contacts you directly and asks, please take the video down, like I'll do it in good faith. So that's all that I requested. I'm like, if this woman really is alive and she wants to take it on, I'll take it down, but I'm not going to take it down from a random stranger. So when that didn't work, then I got a comment on my video where she was kind of like threatening towards me and saying like, I'm putting this person in danger and I need to take it down, like kind of barking orders at me. So uh eventually the guy that gave me permission to use the interview, and she was trying to force him to take it down. So he still didn't see what was going on. So he said, you know what? Let me set up a group chat for you two to chat and then work it out. So he set up this group chat with me and this girl. I don't know who she is. And I simply just say to her basically that I'm like, this video is helping people. It's exposing things that need to be exposed. Selena's never went on record saying she doesn't want it. And the end of the story was I was just very direct and blunt with her. Not even rude, just kind of like very like just like stern about it. Like I wasn't budging. I basically just said if um if she wants it taken down, then she needs to contact this other guy because he did an interview with her. And that was it. And I said, now I'd be willing to take it down. So then while I was in messaging her, she then says, "Oh, Selena just text me. She just texted me and she wants the video taken down." And I'm like, "Well, that's convenient, right? She's been missing for 2 years, and just like that, like she just pops up, take the video down." So I said, "Well, if you're on the phone with her right now, technically text message, but basically, if you're on the communication with her right now, then just tell her to message this guy and tell him to take, and that's it. Like that's all that I said. Because if she's on the, and as soon as I said that, then this woman Selena vanished off Earth again, right? Just that hasn't been seen in 2 years. She pops up just while I'm talking to her, and she's trying to make me move it. And all that says, "Oh, you're on the phone with her. Okay, have her. Just tell him." And then that was it. So then, um, once that she didn't do that, and this Selena person never contacted this person, I said to the other guy, I said, she's making it up. I'm like, she probably just made up some fake profile and pretending this Selena contacted her. So that was the third attempt to try to make me remove it. Then when that didn't work, because all that I sent,
Quint,
oh yeah,
is it okay if I intervene?
okay, let me just tell you the one more 10 more seconds just to tell you to wrap up.
Mm.
So when I didn't do that, then it became Quinn is threatening towards women. Quinn doesn't respect women. Quinn is dangerous and all this stuff. So then it was like this slander campaign, and somebody was sending me the messages that were going on about me. So then it was like somehow it went from me simply just saying, "Well, tell Selena to contact this guy," to I'm threatening towards women and all this stuff. And now it's all this slander is going on. Then like all these different people are involved. So it was like I'm being attacked from within the ex Jehovah's Witness community. And this woman that started all this, she's an ex Jehovah's Witness. And because I didn't budge, now it's like they're trying to just destroy my reputation. I think so nobody will just watch the video because they can't make me take it down. I think now they're just going after my reputation. But these are all supposed to be ex Jehovah's Witnesses. We're supposed to be on the same side.
Do you notice how much time and energy you spent on this whole thing? Where your focus, the real focus, is what happened to Selena. Is what happened to her. Was it true what she said? You backed that up, whatever that was. What happened to her? Because it's possible that somebody hurt her. It's possible that somebody is holding her somewhere. It's possible that she needs protection. That, I would say, is the focus that you should keep. The other stuff, if you want to get into this area, because you are challenging a lot of people that have personal opinions, but you're also up against an organization that is powerful. So I bet you can just, it's like buying an entry ticket, you will be attacked. So if I can give you any advice is, like in Raj Yoga, they say, disregard the wicked. Do not give them power. Don't even listen to them. Don't read these comments. Don't get into, arguments. Don't get into, I never, ever, if somebody gets really, I mean, normally I don't get attacked so much, thank God for that. But, or I don't, I'm not aware of it. I mean, I'm being called all kinds of stuff, but normally it's quite, but anyway, there's been a few times when it's been really rough and online and, on big radio shows, and suddenly somebody's just like firing off a bazooka and I'm not even there. What I do is I let my sweetheart Kim, can you please listen to this? Because people contact me and say, have you seen? Have you seen? And I know if I check it out, if I look into it, my ego is gonna get, hurt, and I'm gonna go into defense or attack, or my mind is gonna be messed up or messed with. So I have Kim to look, and I say on a scale 1 to 10, how bad is it? If it's more than 8, I look into it. If it's less than 8, I don't even give it any energy at all. Because the thing is, when you have put yourself in a position where you are making a difference, that is your task. That is your will, I feel, is you want to heal this. You want to go into the dark area where very few people have gone before, and you want to make a difference for the better, correct? Okay, so you will be challenged, and the more of these things, the more diverted you will be away, because you will get into what the hell this she said and I've said and no and it just escalates. This is the thing, it escalates and it leads to no good. So my suggestion would be just focus on what you're supposed to do, because you're doing an amazing job in that area. Just focus on that. The other thing, in that ear, out the other one. Don't even look at it. Don't go into communication. Don't go into dialogue. There will be a lot of people that don't agree. So they will so-called harass and attack. I would just say have opinions. But there could also, among these, there could also be the bad ones that really wants to destroy you, destroy your reputation, shut you down, and so on. These are the ones that you should just, okay, that's the game, so I'm not going to get into it. It's like, what do you call it? This thing pulling a rope, tow, you know what I'm talking about, tug of
Tug of
war.
war. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you pick up the rope, you've lost. With these things, you've lost. So the thing is not to attach to it. Just let it pass, let it pass, let it pass, and do your job, which is to find out how can we assist Selena? What happened to her? Was she control opposition? The thing is, depends on what the thing she was saying, did that benefit the agenda behind the scenes or not? It doesn't sound to me like she was being anyone was being benefited. It sounds like she was really being messed up. because of what she was doing. So
She was exposing
I
really
really
dark
get
things.
I have no idea about this case. I get a feeling that that is possibly a person or somebody that really should be supported in this whole thing. And I really, really, really hope and wish that nothing bad has happened to her. But unfortunately, I've seen many people, when you're up against these power structures, if they get threatened, they are brutal. They are brutal, and they will handle things in a very brutal way. So I don't know, but hopefully the reason she's quiet is because she's chosen to, not because something happened to her.
Yeah, and what you said is interesting too, because I wasted time doing like two response videos of these attacks, and I have a whole list of very important videos to be doing, plus
Mm.
more information on the Selena person, like more so information showing something definitely suspicious is going on. And yet, yeah, I'm wasting time responding to all this stuff. So, yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying.
It's interesting because the mind wants to grab on, and the mind wants to make things it wants to understand things and put to so the mind will all the time try to connect the dots in a way, and then suddenly that becomes a reality. They did this because of this. No, it's your mind that had just put the dots together so that, yeah, I figured that one out. Maybe you figured it out completely wrong. And then the mind continues building on these foundations that are not stable. So I tell you, if I had gone into trying to defend myself or so, I would have be there still. So in one ear, out the other. Don't even read the comments. If there are any comments that will boost your, so that you feel like, I feel stronger from this. I'm now I can handle it again because I know you've been going through a real rough ride along the way in different areas. So you know where you don't want to go back to, where it's like when you lose your inner, or you start getting paranoid and you look around and because when you're paranoid, whatever that means. Do you know what paranoid means? Actually mean?
Yeah, able to see the unseen or something like that, or
Yeah, exactly. To connect dots that other people cannot see are connected. So in one way, it's a very positive word. But when you start seeing like thing and you start, oh my God, he looked at me like that, and that car came from there, and I saw that car yesterday, and maybe it's another. Do you know your mind just get like, and you start living in fear, and then you're useless in what to do. You're not of any service for this Selena. So the thing is for you to just boom, stay in balance, stay in focus, stay in balance. Just let it, just like winds coming or somebody farting in your face, big deal. Yes, it smelled for a little while. I'll deal with it. You've shown your strength. You've shown your courage. You have all that. It's this one that they can mess with if they do it on purpose or not. But just let it in. Just see it as like things coming your way. Boom, you drive on a bike. You have to, if you drive on a motorbike, you have to be prepared that things can hit you in the face, a bee, a sting, whatever, a branch. It's just part of the ride. Just boom, boom, yeah, not a problem. I'm still here. And keep your focus. Selena, Selena, Selena.
and just to clarify too, so don't even waste your time defending yourself against that type of stuff. Just completely ignore it and don't even worry about it.
It is what it is. I'm one of the most attacked people around, they say. I look I when there are real threats, it's not a matter of being stupid either. I mean, I try to be streetwise. So, but it's like when there are real bodily threats to you, if there's somebody there to really hurt you, I mean, be aware of it. Don't be stupid. But like this type of thing, they're called vrittis in Raj Yoga. It's just a tip, 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 tip in your mind. If you let that in, the it just gets into your mind and it messes with you, and you lose your clarity. You use your calmness and your focus, and your energy. How many hours have you spent on this? And what happened? I guarantee you it will just escalate. So the thing is to just like, yep, here's another wave. I can surf that one. Holy shit, there's a big one coming over there. Prepare yourself, go, keep the balance and relax. It's like if you surf, I can't surf, but I know for sure if you're stiff and scared, you fall. If you're smooth and relaxed, you can handle it in a completely different way. And also another one, I tell you, many people that are being destroyed when they try to accomplish something in these dark waters is when they go straight towards the target. You know, it's like with a rubber band, you just keep pulling it. At one, it snaps. They will stop you. So the thing is to cruise like this. It's like for me, it's like a dance. I go straight to. I mean, I've been really exposing some very, very, very dark things, and then it's a matter of doing it. I don't like confrontations. I mean, I'm shit scared in situations. So it's like when I start feeling like whoop, it's getting too close, I take one step back, two steps to the side. Okay, wait, do something else, do something else. They start thinking, oh, we scared him off, fine. Then once that calms down, two steps forward, yeah, one step to the side, and just see it as a dance, like that. And because logically, I should have been dead a long time ago if I compare when I see other people what got them taken out of the game. I should have been dead like 20 years ago. I'm not, and I'm very happy for that. So I think maybe I've got something right when it comes to that.
This is off subject, but do you follow astrology at all? Like your sun sign and stuff like that? Okay.
I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. So, but I have I did my Balinese horoscope, which is was really interesting because it's into the elements and all that. And I'm pure. I've got a very unusual horoscope. I'm pure air and earth. I have nothing of the others. And my sweetheart is pure water and almost pure fire. So we're the four elements like this. So when we're in harmony, we can move mountains, and when we're not, it's not good at all. So stick in harmony.
Yeah, I got an interesting chart too. I only use Western astrology because I know there's different types, but one thing that was told to me that was strange is that in Western astrology you have like the different zodiac signs, and if you have three of one sign, they call that a stellium, I think. So that's kind of a rare thing if you have like three of the same placement. So I have five Libras in my chart, and
Okay.
Libra is all about like justice and balance.
Mm.
And when I found that out, things made sense because, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm very sorry. I just have to open.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that, Quinn.
Oh, no problem at all. But yeah, so I have five Libras in my chart, which is like very unusual. And it makes sense because uh last November I quit my Jehovah's Witness channel because I got sick of going into these dark areas. I'm like, I don't want to keep talking about demons and Freemasonic connections and all this stuff. And it was so dark that I just felt like I don't want to do this. And I felt it was like weighing on me. And I also wasn't balanced. Like I didn't learn to be balanced, like not getting so deep into it that I'm not actually enjoying life. So I quit. I did my last video. I said farewell to everybody, and I said, I'm moving on. Like I feel I did my job. And when I wasn't even looking, so I'm minding my own business, and I was still seeing connections to Jehovah's Witnesses, like dark stuff, and like I wasn't even looking. It was like it was showing up at my front door, and I was kind of annoyed because I'm like, I'm watching something that has nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm seeing a connection to like to the founder and this and that. And it was almost like I said, it was coming to my front door. And I'm like, well, uh, maybe somebody else can cover it. So I started even sending other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that have channels. I'm like, hey, do you want to cover this? Because I'm done, but maybe you can cover this. And they didn't want to cover it because it was like that's my area of expertise. Like my skill is like just like you break things down, I do the same thing, but it's limited to just Watchtower. But it's like everybody I was trying to say, hey, do you want it? Is like they didn't want to touch it because they just felt that like that's not their ability to be able to see that. So I eventually felt like a calling to come back, like a strong calling. I felt like, well, I have to speak about this because it's important and nobody sees it. And it's like it's a big part of the puzzle. So I actually felt like a calling to come back. And I realized that I can still help. I had to learn balance. I had to learn like, okay, I can't spend my entire days off of work wasting the whole weekend just working on this video. Like if it takes me 3 weeks to put something together, then fine. But I can't feel like I gotta. So I'm still trying to learn that balance. But I once I seen that on my chart, I'm like, okay, that made sense. That's why I felt like I was being pushed because Libra's all about like justice. And so it's hard for me to see unjust and not say nothing about it. So like so I could just, because I know the Jehovah's Witness religion is a cult and they're demonic and all this stuff. So I know enough where I could just move on, but it's like I feel bad. It's like I want to still help. And I've had people who have emailed me and said things like, your videos changed my life. I've actually had people say that. I've had people say it was because of your channel that I woke up, that I was able to see the Watchtower organization for what it was. So those are the things that like drove me to do this, and I'm still in it. But I had a feeling I'm like, you probably got something crazy in your chart. Like you probably got something like I bet it's all in the stars, basically.
Do you know my name? My first name means the just.
That's
So I
interesting.
don't. It is. It is. And it's it is what it is. The thing is, I think what you did was completely correct. You felt that it was starting to wear you out. Also because it was taking you into areas where you were not being led, but you were forcing yourself and you holding yourself. You took a step back, started breathing, getting back in balance, and that's when you start being led. When you don't, who is leading us? I don't know, but I know for sure that some of the big ones that I have exposed, it was put in front of me. It was like, and just because my geeky brain observed it, where other people that were not in this area, just like you in your area of expertise, I might not have seen what you saw, but I was like, whoa, what that? And that's so when your mind and you started coming back in balance and you start being shown again. And so now it's a second chance for you to come back, be of service, and then observe yourself because it's the balance thing. When you come from the heart, people resonate with it. When you come from anger, so people resonate with it, but angry people full of hatred. If you come from hatred, hatred. So it's a question, what do you want? What do you want? Who do you want to reach? What do you want to accomplish? If you want a lynch mob, go for it. Yeah, kill them, all of that. But I don't get that feeling from you at all. It's very good for you to observe yourself and be aware of where you come from. Do whatever you need before you speak, or before you do an interview like this. I'm not a religious person, but I have this very same prayer every single time before and after to get my ego out of the way and say whatever is needed to be said for whoever is listening to fill them with the highest, with a maximum compassion, forgiveness, understanding, and lifting them to the next level of love. And because I really want an incredible future for us all. And yes, I'm looking into really horrible stuff. So it's really interesting that, right, like last night, my spiritual teacher has come from Spain. She's Indian from Spain, and she's now in our house. And yeah, it's amazing. It's actually, I'm not a follower or anything like that, but I count my life before and after meeting her just by observing how she lives her life and that has helped me so much to how I surf the waves in this dark area. So it's extremely, and it was so amazing to also for me to really tell her because she thinks that I've been so much in the dark, in the darkness. I have not at all. I mean, my light has been turned on at all times. Yeah, I've been into dark caves, but the light was never out. So it's like I didn't live in the, I lived in the light at all times, but I entered into these areas that I felt would be of healing if they were exposed. It's like if you have an infected wound, it's you have to sometimes cut it open to let out the inflammation, to get it out there. If it just otherwise it ends up as big boils, and it in the end it will kill the limb. So it is of service to open up even these areas that is really smelly and awful and stinks and is not pleasant, but it is in the long run for the good. Otherwise than that, you're so on track, Quinn. And like I said, I'm very, very proud of you for what you're doing. It's not the actions themselves, but I know what you're doing with your path in life and that this is your path. And I
Mhm.
think I applaud you in the background.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, you taught me a lot, and I've been watching you since 2017. Again, going back to the Stephen Paddock shooting, and I feel like your style is exact same style that I use on my channel. You said something too that was very interesting when you mentioned how somebody like they befriended you and like they came into your home and they were really just trying to break you and your wife up. So there's
Mm.
somebody who I had on my channel about a month ago. He went through the same thing with a girlfriend. He was dating this girl, and I think he was with her for like over a year. And one day she went to the bathroom and she always has her phone locked. But one day, like she slipped up and her phone like it wasn't locked, and he picked it up and he says that it went into some other operating system by accident. Like he doesn't know what he pushed, and some screen came up that had like files on him, and it was saying stuff like, "Oh, John, at this point, he got up and went to the bathroom. He went to this store. We went here together." It was like a whole almost like what you would think a private investigator would do if they write down every little thing you do. And then she ended up being an Eastern Star, which is like connected to like the female Freemason stuff. But no, when you said that, it made me just think of his situation that like that's a real thing. They will really plant people in your life. And I guess in a sense you could also call that a different type of control opposition in a sense. Like, it's more like personalized. It's not like putting someone in an organization is more personalized, but it's like that's another form of that. Like um putting someone there that's really not there while you think they're there to either try to control you or destroy you.
Yeah, I think many people takes it too far.
Mhm,
But I mean, a thing like that on her phone, I wouldn't call that a healthy relationship. There's something very weird going on.
mhm,
And with these connections also, that would be a major red flag to me.
mhm,
It's like, but just because you criticize something or because you expose something or whatever doesn't mean that you suddenly end up being like a targeted individual because these are big operations. Or it's like people also contact me and say, I said this on Facebook, do you think they're going to kill me? And it's like for somebody to actually be assassinated, it takes a lot. It's like costly. It's also when somebody is hit, it's messy. They have to cover up. It's like a big thing. So they don't do that. What they do is normally they try to, if you start to become a real problem, they start to try and destroy your credibility. They try to freak you out. They try to bribe you. They try to get to you, get you off track. And if that doesn't happen, and if this individual keeps pushing, we're back to the rubber band. If you keep pushing straight at it, straight at it, straight at it, it will end up bad if you're on a high level of exposing these things that you've got like Martin Luther King, these type of individuals that are just like, and they know it. They know it. There's no way out. And still they continue, continue,
mhm.
continue. And I mean, bless them, kudos, incredible. And like Martin Luther King has maybe done even more after his death just like Gandhi, by becoming this symbol for what is right. So some people, this is also why when they kill someone, one thing that they're very afraid of is creating martyrs, because if a martyr can be grow so much bigger than a real person. This is one of the reasons I think that I'm still uh, alive, is because they did not want, because I come from love, compassion, forgiveness, so I have the basic credentials where a martyr could be created in people's minds. We're talking about what happens, like this phenomena that happens if somebody is unjustly massacred or whatever. That can really start, like, if you're an asshole and you get killed, it's not the same thing. But when you're on that, that can create it. And that is so way beyond that individual. So yeah, whatever reason I'm still here, I'm very grateful for that. So,
Is that like what Martin Luther King, how like say if he didn't die, that he wouldn't have been as impactful as he was because he got assassinated? Like, is that what you're saying, that like um that if they just died of old age, he wouldn't have been as impactful? I don't know if I'm
yeah,
understanding something like
no,
that.
for sure. Yeah, it's the same with JFK. I mean, had he just been a president trying to make difference and then he was replaced by another one, he would just like, who's Richard Nixon? Who's,
Hmm.
you know, Gerald Ford? He's just one in the line. But suddenly, boom, and it just goes like this.
Hmm.
It's a phenomenon. You see, there's multiple examples in South America, when Operation Condor, when they started slaughtering people down there, like the singer Victor Jara and stuff, where this singer that made beautiful music, and what they did, they smashed his hands and they killed him, and his name just went boom, and he became like a symbol for resistance
Hmm.
and a symbol for, like Nelson Mandela. Had he had the same power, had he not been in prison? No, he was 26 years or whatever on this island. And that's where it built up like that. Mahatma Gandhi spent a lot of time in prison, but that amplified him because it was unjust. Why did they put him? Why is he in prison? So you get all of these. It's a phenomenon, and they are very afraid of creating martyrs. So I would say people that are afraid of getting hit or killed because they're saying stuff, it takes a lot. So don't worry about that one. They will try to get to you in other ways. If you're a real threat to them, you're suddenly, when you leave your office, your computer will suddenly have 15,000, um, you know, child porn photos left, and the screen is left on with all of these 15,000, these type of things, that's how they destroy you. Because how can you defend yourself? His computer was filled with kids' porn. Or, I mean, I have this from former CIA agents who said, this is how we do it. One of them, it's like they just access your bank account, which is very easy for them in many ways. Also through some of the ownerships, or many of the banks are connected into these with these agencies as well. But they just get access backdoor into your account, and they put like $2 million there. Money for them is nothing. Money is just they print them themselves. Boom, they're used in incredible. Like Chip Tatum, a friend of mine who is a the top assassin for George Bush Sr., he said he never moved, he never went anywhere without at least $200,000 in his pocket for bribes, for this, for that. Money, not an issue. Anyway, so if they have a problem with someone, they just maybe put a couple of $1 million in that account, and then they contact the person and say, listen, if you don't shut up, we're just going to talk to the tax department and ask them to look into your bank accounts. How do you explain $2 million that just appears? Well, somebody must have put them in your account. It doesn't work, or they set you up for fraud or something like that to discredit you, to destroy your credibility. That's a lot easier, a lot cheaper, or just scare you, or they get dirt on you, and then they got you by the balls. They set you up, they invite you to some Freemasonic party, come be one of us, and then you're drugged and suddenly photos are taken with you and naked kids in a room. The whole Jeffrey Epstein or Jimmy Savile setup like that, and then they got you.
I was going to say, speaking of Epstein, what is your take on that? Like, I have this feeling that everything is being put on this one guy. I'm not saying that he's innocent or anything, but it seems like they're putting too much emphasis on him, and he's dead. So basically, it's just okay. This so-called list, but I feel that like he would just be somebody that's part of a huge network. I feel like, but by saying it was him, like he's at the very top of it, then it's like I feel like the real players are probably still out. Like there's just, but I haven't really looked into it, but I just feel like because the mainstream media, they always, I feel like protect some of these really dark people. So I'm like, there's so much attention about Epstein on the mainstream media that it just makes me feel like it's like a diversion of like the real players I feel like are just some somebody else that's still running the operation. But I don't know if that's an area that you've looked into.
Of course, I looked into it. And your observation from looking at mainstream media, once again, where's the focus? Why are they suddenly like this? There was very little about Pizzagate in mainstream media. That was completely shut down, even though that was the whole thing. And then suddenly Jeffrey Epstein, and it became this massive thing in mainstream media. Then these are the times you have to ask yourself, whoa, what just happened? We've had like, I mean, I've been part of many, many interviews exposing these type of things on a very high level, and some of my friends are very, very high up there and have been taking people to court up on a governmental level, and it's just been nothing. The case has been dismissed, case dismissed. It's super, Marc Dutroux in Belgium with these star where they had held kids as prisoners until they starved to death and they were I mean, awful, awful, awful thing. And then suddenly, boom, Jeffrey Epstein. So very well observed. Thank you very much. Who's Jeffrey Epstein? He's a part of a machine, a part of a blackmail machine. He was working for both the CIA and Mossad. Please notice, it's not too different. It's on a street level, completely different. On a higher level, they're completely connected. Mafia, Mossad, CIA, these type of things, they go in there entangled like this. So it's wrong to say, if you misunderstand the bigger picture, if you say it's this or that, it's both. You will see they work very tightly together. So anyway, Jeffrey Epstein, his job, he was on a low level. He's apparently a charming guy who can really get along in different things. He was given different buildings. These buildings were set up with cameras and survey, all of that. And then his job was to supply drugs, kids, young women, men, whatever was the preference of the target. And so whoever, if this was a gay guy or if he was into sadomasochism or she was into this or that or whatever, that would be supplied. And then in on the islands, all kinds of weird stuff were being done out there, but also in these buildings in different continents and different countries and on the Zorro Ranch and the whole shebang, the Lolita Airlines, all of these things was to gather people among other, lure them into this whole thing. You can be part of this group of all of them. It's Hollywood celebrities and politicians. Come mingle with us. And then, boom, you start getting all of this footage and all kinds of things that can be used as blackmail so that you control that person from now on and forever. You have a problem with us? Go live, go out in media, not a problem. But before, please just watch this video, and then so the whole thing is a blackmail machine. Ghislaine Maxwell, the daughter of Robert Maxwell, who is complete Mossad, but also other intelligence agencies and in the in the whole media frame that whole thing, who then also died on a very mysterious circumstances. The thing is, they threw him under the bus to get away the attention away from the whole Pizzagate, the whole horror thing, because all of it is nowadays based on pedophilia. That's the only place they can control people. Because nowadays, in the old days, it was enough if they had an affair or something like that. That could be used as blackmail. Or, oh, he went with a prostitute. That could be used as it doesn't matter nowadays. You have like a vicar had sex with a 3-year-old. It doesn't shock people. That was a bit off track. But like the church gay vicar married this or whatever. We're so numb to these type of things. The only thing that can grab people by the balls are pedophilia with children or horror stuff. I mean, we go into very, very dark areas here, and that's where this whole thing. So they threw their Jeffrey under the bus because the whole world was like, Pizzagate, pizza. What on earth? What? No, throw Jeffrey under the bus. So, I mean, from day one, if you look, he's a so-called pedophile. When you look at his track record, I mean, yeah, pedophile in people's minds, I think, are children. The women we see him with was like 15, 16, 17-year old. But compared to what a normal image of a pedophile, he's the guy that has taken all the fault. His job was to supply. He was a supplier, find them and bring them into the network to be used, misused, got rid of. I mean, horror, horror. I'm not defending him in any way or form. But the thing is, all the focus was on him. And then he was taken to court. I had a person outside the jail where he was. I mean, we did a live interview. I said, no way is he ever going to testify. Never, ever. And so he officially dies, inside the prison. Suddenly the cameras are turned off. Oh my God, that is such a bad, unfortunate thing. All the cameras turned off. The guards went to sleep. The whole setup is just as ridiculous as the October 7 invasion. All of that whole thing, when you see the complete setup, the body that are being brought out doesn't look like him when you compare the ears and the nose, and it's not him, the dead guy. And then suddenly there's footage of Jeffrey Epstein out on the island again. If you ask me, he's not dead at all. He was just relocated. And this whole thing about Ghislaine, now she's in prison. Is she really? How do we know? Well, mainstream media tells us. What does that even mean? You write a few articles. She's doing fine somewhere, because they don't want exposure, but they want distraction. So they need to keep that going. Where is this? Where is that? Where are we keep guessing? Oh, this, that, and the whole big shebang. Not enough. We don't even look at it. So I think your observation completely correct.
And could you
And
just I was going to say, could you just explain to your opinion on how easy it is for them to fake this whole jail footage? Because now they have this footage where they supposedly released that, oh, the day that Epstein died, they show like nobody entered his room and he's dead or something like that. But just how easy is that stuff for them to doctor up stuff like that when you're dealing with
for you,
this level of criminals?
okay, so for if it was you or I who was gonna fake anything like that, absolutely impossible. I mean, it would take like impossible. But if you come in on that level, if you start seeing who's controlling, who's the owner of that prison, who's the controller of that, in what like who's controlling the judge, who's controlling the lawyers, who's the attorneys, who are the, and you start seeing the Freemasonic connections, Freemason, 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 and what about the guards? You start, I mean, I've interviewed people that have been in that exact prison, as prisoners or in that jail, who knows the whole system. They said absolutely no. It's 24. These are high security prisons. No way could these cameras be turned off. No way would the guards go and sleep. I mean, you cannot. And there's all kinds of systems there to secure that you cannot fall asleep, that you cannot, that you cannot. And yet it happened. Yet it happened. That just shows you from the inside, Either he was taken out from the inside, a very controlled operation where they managed to get into a high security prison. What does that take to get in there and then kill someone and get out? I mean, we're like this is Mission Impossible level, these type they can do it. In real life, absolutely not. It's controlled from the background. That guy was not supposed to get out alive. It's only by him being dead that they can stop the questions or fear him from revealing what he knows. So no, I think Jeffrey's doing fine. You know,
Yeah, I
it's
remember one
it's
time, I was just gonna say, I remember somewhere, I can't remember where it was at, but there was a picture of like him, and it was before they put him in a body bag, and this was a long time ago. I think it was like 2021, and there was some sort of picture of him where he had like one eye open, and then like his hands was doing like some pyramid thing when he was dead. I mean, this was a long time ago, but I could be misquoting it a little bit because I'm going back like 3 or 4 years. But there's like one of the photos had all these like symbolism in it, like indicating that like he's that it's a game, that he's not really dead and he's posing.
how easy is it to manipulate photos? How easy is it to manipulate videos nowadays? I mean, and yet the things we're shown are not correct, like his ears, nose, all of these things. It's just not correct. It looks a lot like, I think it's Hillary Clinton's brother who died at the same time. But otherwise than that, you have to look at the logic. How is it the official narrative? I mean, if you buy into the official narrative, I would say please activate your brain because it doesn't seem to be very useful for you. Because it's like you just cannot inside that prison. That cannot happen naturally. It cannot. And then if you start seeing like, yeah, but you start looking into the use of CCTV cameras, like everywhere in the airports, and why are they there? Because of terror attacks and so, or yeah, for your security. Have they ever stopped any of these alleged terror attacks? No. Have they ever stopped or been useful when there's been an actual assassination that has taken place? Have these cameras ever been of use? And no, even though they've spent like billions on them, and it's Israeli companies, especially that are controlling and manufacturing these things. But when they're needed, like when Diana died, 14 CCTV cameras were shut down or didn't work when it happened, and then they came up back up. 9/11 or none. There's one footage of from a gas station where you don't see anything. What happened? Pentagon, it's only the most guarded building on Earth. No, very sorry, none of them worked. I mean, I call bullshit on steroids. It's not speculation. That is a pure lie. There should have been 1,000 different angles filming this whole thing. We're not shown. What is happening? Well, the FBI what do you call it? Came and just confiscated all the footage. Okay, great. FBI, show us. No. Why would you not? How come that the FBI's job seems to be every single time something happens to make sure that all the evidence is destroyed or kept back from us? What does that tell you about FBI? Oh, it's the good guys. Really? Really? Yeah, but it is. I've seen it in movies. Okay, I'm just saying, look at the actions. I'm not saying every single FBI agent is bad, not at all, but there is a core rotten element in that organization that is doing very bad stuff. The same with the CIA, with same with the NSA. I'm not saying every CIA operative, but holy shit, that is a shitload of crap contained in one organization, a monster completely out of control. Yeah, but the president can control, and that is such nonsense. You speak to the people inside these organizations, they don't even know how big they don't even know. I've been in contact with many. They have no idea. It's above and beyond.
One thing too, and let me know when you have to go. But it kind of connects to all this stuff. So um, a lot of people are confused about Freemasons. So they say that like you'll talk to a Freemason, they'll say, oh, I'm a 32nd degree, 33 degree, and they'll swear, no, there's no, it's all conspiracy theory. We're not into any of that. It's just rumors and stuff like that. And then clearly, like that there's dark stuff connected with them. And even me looking into Watchtower, I find a lot of Freemasonic symbolism with them. So, and then some people say, oh no, I talked to Freemason. They said you're just conspiracy theories. They're not into any of that stuff. So what is the system exactly like? Do these high degree Freemasons, like these local Freemasons that are 32nd, 30th degree, do they just not know what's going on at the top? Or do some of them know and they just it's part of their secrecy to just deny it? Or do they really not know what's going on?
They're, like you say, they're degrees,
Mhm.
and 32, 33 are the highest. So it's not just somebody that you bump into down the supermarket if, on a daily basis, somebody that is a 32nd or 30. It's like, so there's a reason for all of these different steps, and there are rituals on every single steps. And these rituals are made there for people to go through like a process of how reliable are you to our agenda. So the lower levels are amazing people, the beautiful people that believe in the brotherhood that are there. It's amazing. We're doing all this charity. We're helping each other. If I have a parking ticket or whatever, I just call my Freemasonic brother who's this and that, and he will sort it out. We help each other. We do great stuff. We have parties, and like these are the lower levels. Then the higher you come, the darker it gets, the darker it gets, the darker it gets, the darker it gets. And so this has been going on since the end of the 1700s. And so it's built up, and it's the thing that is, I think, should be somewhat of a concern is that the people that are involved and invited, you cannot just go and say, I want to be part of a member. You have to be invited by at least two others. And it's only the higher part of society, you know. So you will find, like in Sweden, tiny little country, but there will be thousands of militaries, from lieutenant, colonel, generals, these type of things, judges, journalists, royalties, uh, politicians, bankers, whatever it is, the higher part of society. It's never like the butcher down the road, or the guy who cleans the whatever. Never. It's the top one. And once again, also these rituals are there, I think, to collect crap to hold against people so that they can be controlled. Like in the US, you have one of the rituals when you get up to a certain level is to be surrounded by your brothers, naked in a coffin, I kid you not, masturbating while screaming out your deepest secrets. These are official things. What they are not aware of is that maybe they feel this is a great relief. I'm out. I don't have any secrets anymore that I have to carry. But what they're not aware of is this is being recorded to be used if needed. So when you look at things that happen in society and you get like confused, like there's this court case and it's so obvious that this dude is so guilty, and then he gets off the hook, and the DA and the attorney and the judge suddenly seem to be getting on, like nothing happened. Like if you or I had been there, a parking ticket, well, you had three parking tickets, that's a three strike, you're out for life. Like we go down, they get off the hook. How did that happen? These are the hidden things. So how did this is when you have to look like when it comes to that prison thing. If you and I had been in there, no way would we have been able to get out or turn off the cameras, or never ever. And here suddenly it happened. And then the reporters that was there, or reporting, why are they not saying, what the hell? This is absolute bullshit. Give us the truth. Why are they not reacting? You start checking it out. Oh, Freemason, Freemason. Maybe not the journalist on site, but the chief editor. Well, he just happened to be part of the Bilderberg group as well, or this, or this Council on Foreign Relations, or the Trilateral Commission connected into Freemasonry. So it's like, it's this hidden brotherhood network that makes it a problem. If it's out in the open, great, go for it. But it's not. And it's being hidden from us for a reason.
Now, when it comes to the degrees, is it higher than 32? Like, could it be that somebody could get up to like a 32 and think, oh, I'm at the very top, but still not know there's a lot more darker stuff going on? And then like the second part of that question, are different lodges different? Like, are there some lodges that aren't doing some of that really dark stuff that you mentioned, or is it all across the board?
I'm the wrong person to ask. You have to ask Freemasons about this. I I know it's different in different countries as well. In Sweden, we got like 13 degrees. But then you got like in France, that's some of the real dark, the lodges that the other ones are connected to as well. The Orient Lodge, I think it's called, in Paris, they are really, really dark, dark, dark. And so, but I know that for me, I I sometimes jump to conclusion because I think if you're 32, 32nd degree or whatever, you have to know. I mean, no way can you not know. And then I was contacted by, I can't remember where I was being interviewed or whatever. And it was like a native Indian guy who we were having a conversation like this, and he said, "Why are you so against Freemasons?" I said, "I'm not against the Freemasons. I'm against secrecy. The hidden thing. Make transparent. Go for it, and then people know, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever. But when you're hiding it from me and it's affecting our lives, that's when I'm against it." And he said, this was a native Indian, native so-called American Indian. And he said, I'm a 32nd degree Freemason. I don't know about these things that you're talking about. And I was like, whoa, that is really interesting. That I find really interesting because you come from a minority that they want to access. They want to access your DNA and all kinds of stuff. So how come that they have let you up to that level? Is there a reason maybe that you have been let up there and still kept in the dark? Is that possible because you come from specifically that group? And I would say the chances are yes. And so I find that because I found him being honest, he was honestly confused and said, I don't understand. So yeah, so you can be kept in the dark on many different levels. And Quinn, I need to leave now. So
Oh no, thank you for your time. It was awesome having you here, and I'll definitely want to have you back in like another year or so. And definitely want to stay in touch. I really appreciate you coming here, telling all my subscribers things that are brand new to them. Like again, a lot of people are on my channel. They're just waking up out of Jehovah's Witnesses. A lot of this is new. Some of them already know it, but definitely appreciate it, and a personal advice to dealing with what I just went through. And when I post this video, I'm gonna edit and stuff the background. So I'm gonna put your website right at the bottom of the screen, Light on Conspiracy. So it'll be right there the whole time. And pretty much that's the main way for people to get a hold of you, right? Just right through the website and everything is there that they'll need.
yeah, there's more than 1,300 interviews. There's 6,000 articles. There's so many. You can stay there for years and years. But I would very much like to say I'm sorry if I messed with your variations of reality. I'm not here to mess with your mind. I hope that I've been part of maybe adding question marks to things that you might have doubted yourself before. And also, I would very much like to finish with a prayer. I'm not religious, but there's this prayer that my spiritual teacher, Melanie Chelleram, gave me once, and I really, really love it. It goes like this. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May everyone, and especially the ones who hurt us, especially the ones who hurt us, be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May the light of truth overcome all darkness. So victory to that light. I tell you, I just want to say it's indirectly through, with the help of these so-called assholes, that we wake up and we start get a better understanding for what's going on. So on a spiritual level, we have to thank them for being absolute psychos and whatever, putting us through this thing. But apparently it's needed for us
Mhm.
to get a kick in the butt and get going. So yeah, there you go.